What's cracking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid techno, and I'm very excited for this one because it's one of my favorite tunes of sort of recent years. I say recent, it's 15? 2016? Let me check. Does it say it on here? We're going to listen to a tune by Squat Dom just to get ahead of things, called Going Equipped. I mentioned this in another video. It samples Rage Against the Machine. What is the... Know Your Enemy. I think it's from Know Your Enemy. But yeah, basically from their first self-titled album, and you know, any tune that samples Rage from sort of their vintage, like classic period, love that. There's sort of an attitude to the tune. It's not only like a sentiment more generally, but it's also like specifically, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you don't appreciate like techno parties, you don't whatever, like, oh, this building is off limits. Well, yeah, we don't need the key. We're gonna break in. We're gonna break the damn lock and go in and throw a squat party. So piss off. But yeah, bottom line, this is an amazing tune. I absolutely love it. What year is it from? 2015. So this is from 2015. What the hell? I got holes in like the side of the sleeve to the point where I actually thought it came out that side. That's hilarious. And also an indication that I might need to replace this with another sleeve. Regardless, here we go. Going Equipped by Squat Dom. With one hell of an acid riff, not to mention an amazing sample. Abusive 303. Well, it might have to do it on the right tempo. Gurgly sort of acid intro. Rich, like alive. Coursing acid work. Great tune to start a mix with, because it starts with percussion sonics, you know, the clap, but it's like, it had that kick drum absent opening measure to, again, great intro tune. And you could, obviously, a tune like that you could mix into like at a, you know, beat transition very well too. And maybe right when the kick comes in, lower the low end on the outgoing track. Either way, this tune gives you options as a DJ, which I always appreciate. Raising the acid a little bit, now we got the cymbal sort of popping over the top. Or is it just the hats? Either way, it was high-end percussion that came in right there. I think it's both, right? I think they're just like layers, so it's like... It's like this little sort of dissonant, sort of beeping layer. Very tasty. And now, an acid riff of such wicked perfection. Deviant delight. Monstrous character. It's like acid techno revenge. You're like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you doing this to me, acid? Like, oh, I'm just gonna get bigger and then louder. You're going down, motherfucker, is what the acid says. Oh, and by the way, they don't need the key. Why? Because they'll break it.
We don't need the key, we'll break it!
Acid techno fucking attitude. By the way, this tune double drops with other Squat Dom tunes unbelievably. You can start double dropping here and just, you know, do it for like, what would it be, 256? Like, you just chopping back and forth, it fucking bangs. I have done this in a mix. Forget what other tune I used. It might even been Suburban Tedium, which actually has a similar sound, and I think I was maybe like, I'm gonna double the sonics here. Here's a quick like flash of De La Rocha's vocals again. De La Rocha, right? I think it's a clap. I don't think it's a snare, but has a nice like hard quality to it. It fits with everything else. It's just like dissonant layer, kind of just gurgling away under everything. You can really hear it. It's like grimy. Acid is just fucking heating up, like full flames now. The revenge, like at its maximum vindictive nature. Marauding into your brain with malintent. If you're like me, you're like, come on in, man. I'm here for it. It's not chirping out though, it's like rasping out. It's like an evil like acid bird which doesn't chirp but instead like makes some electric like nasty sounds. Again, weird metaphors, I apologize. But that's what my brain does with music. It's got spatial connotations, it's got narrative connotations. And again, somewhere in the middle, the story the artist is telling and the story my brain hears and embraces, they meet somewhere in the middle. Although I do, again, try to take the tune as much as possible on its own terms and as the producer or producers meant it so. But obviously, I'm a subjective person. I can't help but be that. Meanwhile, the acid just fuck off with your philosophical nonsense. Let's just have this acid ride out and this acid attitude. And now back to that gurgling sort of initial layer that we started with. What are energy, like it's turned down the heat, but like still driving, still pumping. But again, if you're mixing out, I feel like by here you've begun your double job, you're working your way out. But you still want that terribly low-end acid to, be a guide, to serve as your perhaps golem as you transition to the next track. So look out, he might try to kill you, but brilliant, amazing. Obviously, the Abusive 303 sub-label is sort of on the harder edge in terms of the acid work in the Stay Up Forever universe, which, there are times where I feel like sometimes an acid work can burn so hot that my brain at least has to warm up to it. It might hit me a little rough at first, and then it's like, okay, you know what, it is wicked and evil, but I dig it. So yeah, Abusive 303, it's a funny label. I have most of the records on it, but there have been a couple tunes. I mentioned there's one by Squat Dom. What is the name of it? Is it Anarchy Hierarchy? I think that's what it is. In fact, someone mentioned that. They commented in one of my videos that, yo, you should look at that because, I read your review about it. And I think I said, like, it legit scares me. Like, it's just a crazy, hard, evil acid techno tune. So, yeah, maybe we'll have to review, or I'll have to react to that one and see if, it hits me different. Not only just because, time passes, but also because in this chair, I've been able to appreciate different ins and outs of tunes in ways that when I'm mixing you don't always get to do because you're working and you're sort of thinking about and hearing another tune. So perhaps I'll go back and react to that one. I think I will. So shout out for the idea. But yeah, bottom line, Abusive 303, There have been a few tunes along the way that have been like, wow, even for me as an acid lover, that's fucking sharp as hell. But I dig it. I like having a label that's like, hey, we're going to explore the more extreme edge of the acid sound. So if you're here for that, you're here for that. And indeed I am. As I said, despite, being maybe intimidated by a couple of the tunes along the way, I think I do have pretty much every one. There might be one missing. I picked up another one recently that I had, there was a gap, it was an omission, but I compensated for that or ameliorated that recently. So yeah, you might have to hear a reaction to one of the tracks on that record soon. But let me know if you enjoy Abusive 303. Let me know if you're a big fan of the label. I know there's at least a few of you out there who are big fans of Squat Dom's tunes like I am. His tracks are amazing, and they tend to have a sort of attitude and even a sort of political edge, which again, I won't get too much into politics, but if you see the punk rock I have here, I feel like he and I probably have a similar sort of philosophical, sort of ethical approach, to certain issues and whatever. So shout out to Dom for that and for your music more generally. I already reacted to Anticapitalista, another tune I absolutely love. If you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go check it out. Otherwise, let me know if you're enjoying these acid techno reactions. Let me know if you have any recommendations or suggestions or specific requests. Love to hear any feedback. Other than that, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night. I will see you next time. Peace.